Good morning, friends, wherever you are, and welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee live stream. I will be your host. How y'all doing today? Hope you're having a great day and a great Saturday. Hope you have a great weekend lined up with a lot of fun stuff. I know some of you do your water changes during my live stream, so if you're doing that, be sure to pay attention to your water change, not the live stream. So more folks are jumping on, so let's give them a second here. Ex-colleague Kev, you'll be back. I'll be back. Famous movie line. Hey, Paul. Angelo's here. Brian's in the house. B Wood 22. Angelo, Michael. Hey, Michael. And Proverbs is here. And Wally's. Mike Hunt in the house. Good morning to you. Hey, Whip. How are you, buddy? Miguel, Whip, AJ. Good morning to you. It is coffee time. AV is good. Thank you for that. Hey, Nick. Hey to you. All right. Fishy Chick in the house. And Mitty Mac and AJ found a used 240 with 75. What? For some. And steel stand for $280. I hate you. Prepping the basement. Oh my God. Look at that. Okay, AJ, you know, that gives me hope. There's, if you look hard enough, you will find crazy deals out there. I mean, yeah, you've got to, it's used. You got to water test it. You got to do all that stuff. Maybe you might need to reseal, but my goodness, what a great deal. I mean, I think a 75 is like 240 right now. That's amazing. Very, very cool. Mike, bake and water change? You're a baker? That's very cool. Nick in the house, water change in the process. Yeah, I'm telling you. Uncle Smiley's aquariums in the house. Hi to you, my friend. So today we have something unusual. I'm not usually a rant kind of guy. I think you would probably consider me on the calmer side. My family certainly does, and but I think some things need to be said, and I'm also very, very patient. And by patient, Heaven, here I am. Okay, so we have Heaven in the house. That's great. So these YouTube names are great. So I'm always willing to give companies another chance, and so that's really what this today's live stream is going to be about giving another chance to Higer, who over the years has been good to the channel. I mean, I can't deny that, and we'll go ahead and get into that. And then what I'll do is I'll get into some of your questions and what you've got on your mind, where you can ask me about what's going on here and any questions you might have regarding your tanks and setups. I'll be happy to engage in that. And Mike Hunt, make homemade biscuits and gravy for the family every weekend. Mike, are you far from Nashville? Oh, biscuits and gravy. That is some good stuff there. You put a little bit of sausage in it there, just a little bit of sausage chips. let's go ahead and just do the official start. We'll go ahead and get underway here. Here we are. It is official. A couple of very quick shout outs before we go commercial free. I want to do a big shout out to my friends who have committed a small amount each month to the support of the channel. And these are, of course, my Patreon Garage Gang members. Big shout out to all of you. You are very, very appreciated. And for those of you who'd like to look into becoming a Patreon, definitely check out the information in the description. Helps in more ways than you know. So, a couple more, and then we will get underway here. A shout out to my friends over at the Aquarium Co-op. Corey, Zenzo, and the gang over there. Thanks for all your help, friends. You are appreciated. Check out the Aquarium Co-op. I'm sure you must be familiar with them. They are pretty well known at this point. For those of you who'd like to pick up some something on Amazon, if you use this link, you will actually go to my Amazon store. But then what happens is if you bounce out of my store, anything you buy on Amazon will then go ahead and give a small credit to the channel. So that helps out in a way that's very, very painless and nothing new out of your pocket on that because your prices stay the same. Big shout out to Josh over at Cunningham Tropicals for his help. He is a big supporter of the channel. So thank you, Josh. Not sure if you can be here today. Josh spends a lot of his weekends at shows and selling fish at local shows, which is very cool. And I finally have a discus mug. And I think what I'll do is I'll give one away. I'll have a movie trivia question. And the only hint I'll give you is it has to do with patience, because that's the theme of today's live stream, patience. And so somebody will win my new. It's a wraparound. In other words, the entire mug is covered with it's just a photo of my discus tank. A photo I picked randomly. I've got another design in mind that I'm going to be doing some more work on, but this one will suffice for now. But stop by the Teespring store if you want to pick up some swag, some t-shirts, some hoodies, and good stuff like that. It does help the channel when you do that. So there we go. We can now go commercial free. Big shout out to my wonderful moderators. I refer to them as the best on YouTube. They are the best on YouTube. And thank you. It looks like I got a super chat from, is that Michelle? Is that pronounced Michelle? Pouliot? Thank you so much for that super chat. You are appreciated. Super chats are a way to help the channel during the live stream. You just go to the bottom where the comments are, and you can do them there. Hey, Dan, you in the house. Robin Rayner in the house. More folks are jumping on. Come on in. There's room for more. Just looking at the chat here. All right. So if I call you Michael, that my son-in-law's name is Michael, and I noticed that the spelling is different, so I wasn't sure, but it is. So you are a Michael. And if I call you Michael, that would be okay? I hope so. I think I've been calling you all kinds of crazy names. All right. Angelo, if I drink, I might rant. And that's why you probably shouldn't drink. I have received, I will say this without saying any names, I have received unusual comments under my videos, and then later received an email saying, hey, look, I'm sorry, I was out of line, I had had a few drinks, and I probably shouldn't have made that comment. So, at any rate, just something to know, something to consider. If you're going to have a few drinks and you're like that, you might want to tell the people around you. Now, listen, if I say something, just take it with a grain of salt and realize that tomorrow I'll probably be apologizing to you. Oh, hey, Father Fish in the house. What an honor. You are loved and respected, my friend. And yes, Father Fish was mentioned in my recent video. And this is the video on those seven videos that broke the internet. This video right here, 7 videos that broke the internet. And actually, his handsome face is right on the front, middle, bottom there. And he is one of the ones in there. And the emphasis in the video is whether you agree, disagree, whether you practice it or don't practice it. The dirted tank, the natural ecosystem approach of Father Fish. You can't deny his passion and his care. That you can't deny, whether you agree or disagree with what he's doing. The man is all in, and I certainly admire that. So thank you, Father Fish, for showing up. If you're not familiar with his channel, go check it out. Got some real interesting stuff there. You know, the only complaint I had on that video, the 7 fish keeping videos that broke YouTube, the only complaint I had was from Whip World, who said he wasn't included. Whip, you know we love you, buddy. Oh, that was the only complaint. Whip World saying, "Hey, I wasn't included." Otherwise, the video is getting some good traction. I think it's got over 1,000 views, which isn't bad for a day. And I'm sure some of you have probably watched it. So, Whip, you're a good guy. All right, so let's get into my mini rant here, and then I'll show you some products that I'm going to be doing a review on. But I first have to give you a full disclosure. This is a heater that I did a review on, and I originally included in the discus tank behind me here. And it's a good looking heater, has a great control unit that hangs outside the tank. And after about a month or so of running, it fried itself. The tubes inside of it became frosted, and I started, and this is good news, the external unit started blaring. It was an alarm, like something's wrong with the heater alarm, right? Like a miscellaneous code. And so that part of it worked great. In other words, it told me that something was wrong. It wasn't overheating the tank. It had just sort of malfunctioned and short-circuited somehow. And the tubes became, you could tell that there was an electrical, like a short circuit or something, because the tubes were white and frosted, which they're not supposed to be. So that heater was pulled. Now, I told Higer, they sent me one back immediately, but certainly you must understand my reluctance in putting it back into the discus tank. So now it sits there as a backup and a heater that I can't 100% recommend because of my personal experience, which might have been a one-off, right? Now, do you folks remember this? The Higer circulation wave maker? This was the pump that I put onto the 300 to create a current that would run across the length of the aquarium. Good looking wave maker. Very, 35 to 50 watts of power consumption, and a good amount of gallons per hour. It started making noise. It started rattling. I pulled it out, and three of the blades, I sent a picture to Higer, 3 of the blades that spin had broken. Now, was that because a cichlid took a mouthful of gravel and spit it into the wave maker? That's entirely possible, right? I mean, these fish, they spit substrate everywhere. I find it everywhere. On top of the heaters, I find it everywhere. So that's entirely possible. They might have, while it was off, because it was on a timer, so while it was off, they might have loaded up some gravel in there, and then when it spun on, the plastic blades broke. That's possible. So I contact Higer. They send me another one immediately. And about 3 weeks in, it starts to make a weird noise. So I pull that unit as well. So needless to say, I've become a bit disillusioned about Higer. But in all fairness, I have a lot of Higer products that have run for a long time and are running well. I'm using Higer hang-on backs on the discus tank. I've got a Higer heater in the 90-gallon. That's been working for a long time, doing a good job. I've got a Higer heater in the 210, a Higer heater in the 300, right? That's one in the 210. It's running, those products are running great. It's keeping the discus tank clean, those hang-on backs. So there's, just to be fair, I have run Higer products that have been solid, that have run right. And I don't think you can just do one sort of blanket statement like, well, Chinese products are junk. I don't buy that. In that video, in that recent video that I just mentioned to you, and the one that features father fish, there's also a mention of a trip to a Chinese, the number one video with like 11 million views was the Aquarium Co-op. And here's some of the raw footage from that video. And this is just some raw footage, unedited, that I was using from that video. But if you look at the fish, I mean, one thing we know is that the Chinese know how to take care of fish. So you can't say the products that come out of China are junk. You can't make that sweeping statement because in that video, in the Aquarium Co-op in China video, it was very clear that the Chinese, they've got a lot going on when it comes to taking care of fish, and they know how to keep fish alive under circumstances that we might consider completely unacceptable, like 100 fish in a 10-gallon tank. But so we know it's not, well, it's because it's out of China. No, China can produce good quality fish care products. So I'm going to be patient. I'm going to give them another chance with a couple products that they offered to me. I'll show them to you. This is called the Haiger Windstorm. Usually their names are kind of weird. This name is actually kind of cool. Now, what am I going to do with this Haiger Windstorm? Well, I've got 3 tanks, and sometimes a fourth one that I add that I use as quarantine tanks. And those tanks all have air like air pumps and sponge filters. So what this unit does, they give you a lot of hose, which I may or may not use. I've noticed the hose sometimes that's provided with these products can kink very easily. And I have like 100 yards of Aquarium Co-op hose, which is really good quality. But the unit itself is a big heavy-duty unit, and it's designed. Look at these monster air stones they give you. I'll pull one out and show it to you. Now I'm going to be using it to run sponge filters, not necessarily air stones, but look at that. They give you a whole bunch of those big air stones. And then what they do is they give you a sort of gang valve. Pull that out and show it to you. So the pump, with an extra wide hose that they provide, a slightly larger diameter hose, goes into this sort of gang valve. And then that goes out to can go out to 4 tanks. So this unit will run all the sponge filters on my here's the thicker hose that goes from the main unit to that gang valve. I'll show you the unit. I'm hoping it's quiet. If it's not quiet, I'm not going to use it. I have enough noise in here already. It's pretty light. Haiger Air Pump HG158. If it can run all those tanks, if it can run 4 pumps and consume 15 watts, that's pretty efficient. 1,325 liters per hour, or 350 gallons per hour of pressure. It's got nice little rubber feet that should mute some of the sound. I'll put it on top of a silicone pad, but you can see the unit. So you've got this master monster output right here. and that output connects to that transition or gate or gang valve, and then that will feed the other tank. So let's see. We'll see how this works, and we'll see how it works over time, because it's one thing for me to just get something up and running and then do a video for you, and then it fails in 2 months, and then what's out there in the internet is my glowing review, and without the follow-up saying that, hey, I didn't, it failed. And so you've got to know the whole story. So Higer, you're probably going to watch this since your name is in the title of the video. I'm going to run this, and I'm going to let it go for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and then I'm going to do a follow-up, assuming it's still running quiet and pumping and doing a good job. So I'm not endorsing it right now. I will put up a video showing how it runs the pumps, how it runs the air stones and the sponge filters. They also include with it some one-way valves. Can you make those out? One-way valves. This is so that if the pump is sitting below the aquariums, you're not going to get a back siphon coming from the aquarium that's going to flood your floor. I'm probably going to install that unit in one of the cabinets above the hospital tanks, and I'll drill a hole in the bottom of the cabinet, and I'll run the hoses out of that hole so that the pump is sitting above the aquariums. So I'm not going to need these one-way valves, but they're good to have anyway. All right, let's look at the next product that's going to be part of Higer's last chance. But let me do this real quick. I'm going to take a very quick 1-minute break and let YouTube insert an ad, because maybe if I do this, my video won't have 200 ads after it uploads. So here you go. Did some of you get an ad? I know those of you who are not ad-free would have gotten an ad there. I'm just trying to use this system because when my live streams upload, they'll have an ad every 30 seconds. So I don't know why. Something I might be doing wrong. So, and yes, there's no battery backup on them. And I know I noticed a comment there. And that is one concern, because all of my current pumps, including a Higer lithium battery one, a Co-op one, and also one from Aqua, and I also have one from Cobalt. They're all lithium batteries, so if there's a power outage, there's still going to be some airflow from the pumps. So that's my only misgiving on using this. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they have a battery backup one, and if I like this one, maybe we'll upgrade it. So here's the next product That's going to be Higer's last chance. And it is a, it's called the Higer Foodie Cam. The Higer Foodie Cam. Very interesting product. Not really sure how I'm going to attach it to the aquarium. That's going to be the biggest challenge. But what it does is can be controlled remotely, auto feeding time setting, adjustable feeding amount, manual and automatic dual mode feeding, moisture proof design, a record of fish feeding. So you have an app that goes with it, looks like, suitable for various types of fish food. And what it does is it allows you to not only auto feed your fish, but allows you to see your fish on your phone. The Higer Foodie Cam. So, again, not sure how I'm going to incorporate this since I'm using a lid, glass lids. I might have to jury rig it a little bit, but this could be interesting, especially if you go away for a weekend. I mean, some of these fish, like my larger fish, they can go a weekend without food. They'll survive. But like the discus and my much smaller fish, I do like to keep the feedings regular with them. So yeah, there's an app that you can download. They give you instructions on the app. And then you have this it's a three-piece unit here I'm pulling out. This is the first time we're all seeing this for the first time. Heavy duty attachment for securing it on the aquarium. This looks like the food drum, that would rotate and drop food into the aquarium. For those of you familiar with auto feeders, you know what that is. And then this is the main unit. And this unit has a camera, so it sits on the side of your aquarium, and this is a camera that looks into the aquarium, so no matter where you are, you can tap into your foodie cam and see how your fish are doing. It's kind of heavy. It feels like it's substantial. It's got some weight to it, and it's got several other parts, connectors, lenses, and things that I need to study up on before I install it. Higer Foodie Cam. So watch for that. That'll be an interesting install, because it's going to require some jury rigging, some messing around with the lids, which has been most of my problem with auto feeders, especially with the custom tanks. I have some custom tanks from my friends here in Nashville, from Glass Cages, and when you have it's all glass. You know, the top is like all glass, and so sometimes they have plastic strips at the back that you can cut, and then remove one part of the back plastic strip, and then drop attach the feeder there. It's been an interesting challenge, to the point where I finally, in some cases, just said, okay, I just got to have someone come over and feed the fish. All right, we can open this up to discussion. What's been your experience What's been your experience with Haiger? And are you using Haiger products? Tell me in the comments if you're using Haiger products. I'd like to know. I'll go ahead and pin that question at the top. And let's see. Ex-colleague Kev, the camera is on the outside of the aquarium, pressed up against the glass. Yeah, for some of us that like to get away for a weekend every now and then and start missing our fish dearly, be kind of nice just to be able to get a camera. I do have a camera that can see the whole fish room, and I've got to install that, and that allows me to access it from a remote location. Similar to like a Ring camera, but pointed inward. Now, by the way, Angelo, I noticed you mentioned the trailer. That trailer was for an older video. I'm just trying to figure out how to get rid of that trailer. I tried a new feature on YouTube, and it's like, uh-oh. Now I'm stuck because that trailer does not apply to this live stream, but whatever. All right, so I'm perusing the chat here. Ex-colleague Kev, you stay off those biscuits and gravy, my friend. Sausage, Mike agrees. Sausage is important. Even more important to use your leftover bacon. Oh, okay, Mike. Now, where'd you say you live? Heaven, this is the reason why you really want to consider even an inexpensive controller can make a big difference. If you look over my shoulder, right there between the tanks, right at the top level of the tanks, you see it behind me? Maybe I can show it on a close-up. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Those are controllers. Those are from a company called True Temp. And if they detect that something is off, they shut the power off. They'll shut the power off so the heater would stop cooking the fish. Highly recommend them. All right, let's see here. Ex-colleague Kev, there used to be a channel that did updates on YouTubers. I don't remember that channel. Father Fish used 20 of these. Well, there you go. You used a lot more than I did. Used about 20 of these heaters. 3 have failed. Now, it's not uncommon for a heater to fail after 2 years. I think that's the but then again, you get some heaters like the old German-made Eheims. People say they've been running them for 15 years in their tank. I've got an old Eheim running in the discus tank now. Dan, you get what you pay for. Isn't that the truth? And but having that being said, I did also have a Cobalt Ecotherm, the super thin ones that they sell. It was called, I think it was called Ecotherm. I even had a short video throwing it in the trash. It actually killed a red spotted severum I used to have. It just went crazy and went up to like 98 degrees or something. On a hospital tank where I didn't have a controller. So yeah, I didn't buy any more Cobalt heaters after that. That's pretty creative, Mike. I don't think I'd be up for that, but that would be a great way of using ambient heat. You know, Whip, I think that's my same conclusion. It's a little bit of a roll of the dice. There are some companies you can be pretty sure that what you're going to get is going to be rock solid. I think C-Shape. I've got a C-Shape wave maker in the 300 now. The thing's a monster, a complete monster, completely quiet. Yeah, some companies, I say C-Shape would be one of them. What companies have you folks found to be rock solid? That Eheim had that reputation. I know that they farmed their heaters out to Japan for a little while and had a problem. Was it Japan or India or someplace for assembly? But they pulled it all back to Germany. And I think Eheim had a rock solid reputation for both canisters and heaters. Just one more fish. Howdy to you. Just one more fish. That's such a funny name that we all could relate to. Well, that's a good point, Heaven. Yes, they can give the specs. Now, do they follow those specs? I mean, there's a lot of finger pointing that can go around, but I know that some good quality products do come out of China. I mean, all you have to do is look at that Chinese fish market, so you know something good's going on. And there's probably fault on all sides. Dan, my tinfoil hat brain is saying tread lightly, Ben. What do you... Not sure what you mean, Dan. You think Hire's gonna have me taken out? Oh. Yeah, you know, Zach, some of their products have been running for a long time in my fish room. And Whip likes the hose line from Higer. There you go. Branton Lightcap. I just reviewed a Higer linear piston pump, and it's a beast. I've got 40 drops and room to expand. Super quiet. Well, there you go. There you go. That's a pretty strong endorsement right there. And one thing I will say about them, when I do contact them and tell them that something is wrong, they do respond quickly, they replace it quickly, and they do assure me that they are going to tell their production and development area about the problem. So hopefully they are upping their game over time. Yeah, Brandon, Branton, did I pronounce it right? Branton, light cap. I am running Hygger lights, and I've never had a problem with Hygger lights. I actually like them. I like the range and the look on the water. They produce a good shimmer, which you normally have to pay a lot more for. Von Lurker is using the Hygger heater. And, you know, they sent me a new one. I might just go back and put that heater in because I don't really like the Eheim laying on its side in the back of the tank. It creates a bit of a detritus catch below it. When I lift it up and vacuum under it, the amount of waste under there is ridiculous. So I wouldn't mind going back to that Hygger and hanging it on the wall. We'll see. We'll see. Craig's Catfish Cave has a Ring camera in his fish room. There you go. I mean, Ring camera technology, I think, is awesome. I always get an alert on my phone when I come home, so then I know I'm home. Let's see here. I am looking over your comments. Midi-Mac, I got Sichet. The Sichets their heaters look amazing to me. They've got a lot of built-in technology, and according to Jay Wilson, you don't need a controller. They have built-in controller technology. Do you trust that 100%? That's your call, but they say they have that. And when I told Jay about running a controller on a Sichet heater, he told me I was wasting money. I didn't need that. You didn't need it because it had that built-in technology. Regular Dude says that the Fluval FX kind of disappointed me. Well, if you follow my channel, you know that I did have a period there where I fell out of love with FX. I had a purge valve and an input valve start to leak on me, and they are expensive. They're expensive to replace, and it was a bit upsetting. But I have since, for over a year now, had zero issues, and they are a beast. I am looking into another canister that has been being sold in Europe. I think they're going to be coming here, and it looks like it might be the new beast canister. It has 2 outputs and 2 inputs. Pushes a tremendous amount of water. So I'm going to try and get my hands on one of those. Branton Lightcap says that Oasis makes some good products. I've heard some good reviews. Denny, one of my moderators, who I don't think is here today, loves the Oasis. He's running one. It's called a Thermo. It has a built-in heater. He likes it a lot. Well, Zach, you can certainly try Hygger. They have 1,000-watt heaters, and I was running one called a titanium, which I think was 800 watts inside of a sump, and it ran for years until the only reason it failed was because I dropped the water line of my sump, and some of the heater was sticking out, and it started to sizzle. So that was on me. That was not on them. But they do make some very high wattage. My only comment on those is if you're going to use a high wattage heater, run it through a controller, but make sure the controller is rated for that much wattage. Because some controllers are not rated like above 1,000 watts, let's say, and it's got 2 plugs. So if you're running a 1,000 watt heater and an 800 watt heater into each of the plugs, you might just blow out your controller. So, and that would create other problems, right? All right, so let's do a little bit of trivia here. I mentioned earlier how the theme of today's live stream was patience, and I think I'll send out a brand new discus mug, a discus mug to the winner of today's trivia question. Now, here's your clue, and moderators, I want you to help me to spot who gets it right. At the end of a movie, it might have even been after the titles, there was an old guy sitting in a taxi, and the meter was still running, and the amount was enormous, and his comment was, I think I'll just wait a little bit longer. Who can tell me what movie that's from? Any guesses? This is for a mug. And I'll tell you what, if you don't want the discus mug, you can have one of the other mugs that are there. Angelo, based on what I said, that's a clever guess, but you're not right. Dan, you must follow the channel because you know I refer to The Fifth Element quite a bit, but that's not the movie. The guy is sitting there because the taxi driver has left and told him that he would be right back. And so the guy just sits in there waiting. While the meter just gets up into hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And his comment is, I think I'll just wait a little longer. If you're from California, that ending had a very special meaning. Pursuit of Happiness, no. Where's Holly Shan? 12 Angry Men. Great guess. Great guesses. Captain McReynolds. Okay. Here. Collateral? No. But that's a good guess, though, Collateral. A lot of that movie was in that taxi with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. All right. I'm going to tell you. The movie Airport, the comedy Airplane, at the end of the movie, the main character, the main comedian in it, goes into the airport and actually ends up like on a plane in this big long adventure throughout the whole movie, and leaves the guy sitting at the curb. And the guy sitting in the cab was a guy named Jarvis. And Jarvis was the guy who in California, it took him 50 years, tried to get property taxes to be 1% of the original purchase price because people were losing their homes because they were getting reassessed in their old age after they paid off their home that they paid $150,000 for. They were getting a $600,000 assessment and then losing their home because they couldn't pay the taxes. So Jarvis, it took him like 50 years to get the Jarvis Initiative and the 1% tax approved in California for property taxes. And so it was a little bit of a homage to the amount of patience he had in sitting there while the meter kept running and making a comment like, I think I'll wait a little longer. Just goes to show how long he waited to get 1% approved. All right. Airplane was a very funny movie. And the traffic controller, remember the traffic controller? I picked a bad week to stop sniffing glue. Oh, my goodness. All right. Okay, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and ask them now. And I thank you for hanging in with this little mini rant. And I appreciate all of you who have participated in the chat. Any questions? We have somebody who's joined us from Vietnam. Hello. Yeah, go to the end of the movie. I think it might even be Excali Cav. Go after the credits. He's still sitting in the cab where he got left at the very beginning of the movie. The cab driver told him, "I'll be right back." Just a little homage to how. Yeah, Michael. A lot of folks lost their homes that they had worked very hard and paid off over 30 years because of a reassessment. And all of a sudden, here they are on Social Security, living on retirement, and can't pay the taxes on their home, and lost their home. So it was very, very difficult. They're trying to get something passed like that here in with the recent jump in property values in Nashville due to all the people moving here. They're trying to get something like that here because there are a lot of folks who paid off their homes years ago and are on Social Security or retirement, and they're going to lose their homes if they get a new tax bill based on current assessments. That's and I know recently in Florida, DeSantis made some very strong comments about, do you ever really own your home if you can still lose it due to taxes? Do you ever really own it, or are you renting from the government? So it was some strong comments. So I'm thinking he might even be pushing to eliminate property taxes on those who have paid off their homes and are above a certain age. So that could be very interesting. So there you go. Chef Steve, I've never owned Crebensis, but let me ask you a question. Do you think Crebensis or Epistogramma or perhaps a ram would be a good centerpiece fish for the planted aquarium over my shoulder here? What do you think? I'm talking about, let me I'm talking about the planted community, which is over my shoulder. You can see it here. Right now, there's rummy nose, ember tetras, rasboras, just a variety of smaller fish in there. Do you think Crebensis, Apistos, or do you think I should go with rams as the centerpiece fish for that aquarium? What do you think? Tell me what you think and tell me why. I would love to know, because I might just go to the fish store this afternoon. Nick, I speak jive. about the line of people? I'll handle this. Oh my God. What was it, Shirley? You must be kidding. No, I'm not, and stop calling me Shirley. So many one-liners. I have rams in my planted tanks. They're great and doing well. Thank you, Michael. And they're not they don't bother the smaller fish. Do you have smaller fish in there? Almost like an ember tetra, you could call that almost a nano fish. Would a ram go after that? Bolivian rams for sure. Okay, chef. Janet chiming in. Janet Fields. A pictogramma, cacatoda, double red. I've seen those. They're beautiful. Cribs eat plants. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, that's an automatic disqualification on the cribs on going into a planted tank. Will the apistogramma eat plants? I don't think the rams do. Father Fish, do you know if the apistos or do you think that they would eat plants, or you say they'd all do well in a planted tank? There's some people on YouTube I trust. Father Fish is one of them. Fishberg, where are you? Where are you with your wind advisory? We had one of those last night. I'm glad we didn't lose power. Angela wants to know what I think about a spray bar. I think a spray bar is great if you don't have other things breaking up the surface. Someone is saying apistos and rams. Whipswirl, apistos and rams. Well, maybe. I was looking for one centerpiece. I was also thinking about emperor gudgeon. An emperor gudgeon, a beautiful fish. Tried one once, and unfortunately he didn't make it. Apistos. The apistos are a type of cichlid, so that was a concern of mine. Dan Yu. Hey, Kendall G in the house. My cribs eat plants. Okay, well, I think cribs might be off of the short list. But Michael says they don't bother. Okay, good. That's good news. Kendall says go with the rams. Never had apistos. My rams didn't eat plants. Okay. The rams are moving up on the short list. Hey, GP. Hey, you're here now. I'm glad you made it. I know some folks like like John and other folks have been very busy on Saturday mornings and have not been able to show up, so I get it. Kendall G, do you watch Max Velocity for severe weather? There is a group of forecasters that have a bit of a podcast that we watch sometimes, like when we had some tornado warnings. But Max Velocity, I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, we do get some severe weather here in Tennessee. Last night we had an electrical storm, and it was interesting. All right, folks. I think we're past the hour. I want to thank all of you for sitting in today. You are very appreciated. Thank you for anyone who did a super chat. Thank you to my Patreons and my moderators. Shout out to Father Fish for showing up. You are appreciated, my friend. And I think with all that being said, this would be a good time to go ahead and end off. I will probably run out to visit my friends over at well, I've got two stores here that I'm thinking. There's one called Music City I'm thinking about visiting. I haven't been there in about a year. It's a bit of a drive, but it's run by, it's a smaller shop, really nice guy running it, and I might check them out and see what they've got in stock. I got a great deal on some electric blow car there one time. Or I might go to Aquatic Critter, my go-to here in Nashville. But there you go. So thank you, everybody. And hey, Father Fish, thank you for that, my friend. Very kind of you. You are truly a generous gentleman. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, everybody. You rock. You're the best. And I'll see you next week. Take care until I see you again. Bye-bye.